How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Chargepoint and as well as for SOFI. So as far as for Chargepoint is concerned, it did have some great news which contributed to the strength in the stock, and of course which was great that SOFI posted up a green day. So we're going to talk about both of these plays. We're going to take a look at the charts. We're also going to be taking a look at the short interest information, and just as a reminder, if you are new to this channel, we do have timestamps down below inside the description because I do value your time. So let's get into those videos, and then I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts afterwards. So we're going to take a look at the chart for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.82, being up 3.01%. On the low, it tested $5.57, and then on the high, testing $5.85. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 25.094 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 48.391 million shares. So you can see that we did have below average volume on the day, and we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we still continue to trade below all of our major moving averages, which is the 50 EMA, the 21 EMA, and as well as for the 9 EMA. But what is very interesting for today, you can see SOFI has found some support right around this 550 area. We did test that on the previous day and showed support, and as far as for today is concerned, seeing that high at 585, which gave us a higher high from the previous day, is a good sign. So what you want to see next is SOFI getting to at least $6, or we have the 9 EMA at $5.97. And knowing that it saw a high at 585, it is very doable for SOFI to revisit $6 going into tomorrow. If it doesn't and it decides to show some weakness, I'd want to see some continued support at this 550 level. Most preferably a higher low. Maybe we might get it around the 560s and so on. But if we end up breaking through this 550 level, that's where we know the next area where we have some strong support is around $5.15, which I've talked about many times already. And of course, that gets us closer to the 52-week low at $4.82. I know many people don't like to hear me talk about that, but we are in the month of September where it is extremely volatile and known for being the worst month. So I want you guys to be prepared for these price levels. So it'll be very interesting to see what SOFI does going into tomorrow. But what I can clearly see, though, it looks like we could have a turnaround, but we need to pay attention to the market conditions as well. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for SOFI. So the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 39.04%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.7 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 5 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.06%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the second, it was at 43.88, and then for the close of the sixth being at 39.04. So it did go down a bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.19%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So we're going to take a look at Chargepoint. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $16.08, being up 9.02%. On the low, it tested $14.76, and then on the high, testing $16.29. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 14.196 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 12.513 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, and of course we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, what I want to bring to your attention, we see Chargepoint trading below all of our major moving averages, which is a 50 EMA, the 9 EMA, and as well as the 21 EMA. And what we can clearly see happening right now is the 9 EMA wanting to curl up above that 21 EMA, which is a bullish sign. Now, when we take a look at where we saw for the high, it was at 1629. So going into tomorrow, knowing that Chargepoint closed right at 1608, it's very possible to get some price action above 1651. This is a level that I brought to your attention in our previous Chargepoint video. If we're able to break above it, then we could see that move going to $17, and that's where Chargepoint can start seeing some strong resistance. If it's able to break through $17, then I'm looking forward to see that move going to at least around $17.95 or $18 would be the next level to watch, because as you can see, that's where we had some resistance there as well. If we decide to have a pullback, of course you want to see a continuation of a higher low and as well as a higher high. That would be the best case scenario, but I would take that higher low. Where would we want to have that higher low at the most if it decides to have a significant pullback? I'd want to see support coming in right at 15 bucks. We saw a low at 14.76, so if we're able to show support at 15 bucks, that is definitely a good look for the play, even if it decides to pull back, because then we'd want to see what it would do for the following day and as well as going into next week. But the one thing you don't want to forget, because I don't want you guys to be naive here, if we end up not holding $15 and we break through 14.76, that's where we can see Chargepoint pulling back to where it's showing areas of support right around this $14.30 range. So add that to your homework as well. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for Chargepoint. So the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 57.73%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 3.56 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 550,000, updated 8 minutes ago, and then for the short vol fee rate, it is at 2.32%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the second, it was at 61.77, and then for the close of the sixth being at 57.73. So we can see it went down a little bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.30%, Chargepoint does continue to have short squeeze potential. So for my final thoughts for Chargepoint and SOFI, let's start off with Chargepoint. It was great to hear that it got a price target upgrade of $22, which contributed to the big move that we saw today. So the next level that you want to watch going into tomorrow, we need to see that break above $16.51. If it's able to break above this level, we can see Chargepoint wanting to make a move to $17. So please add that to your homework. We also want to see a continuation of a higher low. If we're able to pull off a continuation of a higher low, the play continues to look good. And what would that look like? You just want to see it holding up $15. That is not too much to ask whatsoever. So knowing that we have this momentum coming into the play and in a 1-year price target of $22, Chargepoint is one of those plays you want to continue to keep on your watch list. But you guys know already, it's one of my high conviction plays, and we know Chargepoint isn't going to be going anywhere. EVs are here to stay, and they should be able to benefit from the Inflation Reduction Act as well. Now, as far as for SOFI, so SOFI is continuing to show support around $5.50. But if this area does decide to break, we could see it coming down to around $5.15. This is a level that I've been talking about for quite some time, so I want to make sure you're keeping it on close watch. And we also know that is not too far off from the 52-week low, so add that to your homework. As far as if you want to see a move to the upside now, you want to see SOFI going back to at least $6. I think we saw a high around $5.85. Of course, I covered that inside of the chart analysis. So if we're able to break above $5.85, you want to see momentum above $6. We have the 9 EMA, which is around $5.97. So if we have a further move up, SOFI does look good. But please pay attention to the overall market conditions. If we decide to have a pullback, SOFI will follow and it will go down to those levels like I talked about. We also have to remember that we are in a volatile month, and when it comes to growth plays, especially the plays that don't show consistent profitability, and Chargepoint and SOFI do fit in this category, a lot of institutions are going to be having a risk-off approach. Will they have a risk-on approach? Well, we will know that if the market decides to start trending up. But in my personal opinion, as far as for this month, I'm just not seeing it, and I'm just going off of what I've seen in the past. And I also want to remind you guys, we have Jerome Powell that's going to be speaking tomorrow at 9, and we know the impact that he could have on the markets. So depending on what he says, we know it could impact both of these plays. So keep them on your watch list, or maybe if you're an investor or whether you are a trader, you want to be in the know and know what is going on, especially if you start seeing fluctuations in the price, so you will be prepared for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will continue to keep you guys inside of the loop, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow.